promised, let's finish up this week's PowerPoints in this chapter. So we're talking about managing marketing implementation. So we've talked about the content of a marketing plan. Let's talk about some of the implementation ideas or concepts or activities that need to be done. So putting the strategies into action. So this would be the tactical side of it, where you're doing day-to-day operations. So if a company truly adopts a marketing concept, meaning they're going to try to make things that people want to buy. That's essentially what it is. They need to be close to the customer or target market in order to make informed decisions about A, the strategy, and then B, the operations or day-to-day activities. So you've got choices to make, and this has to do with management. Certainly, big organizations have centralized and some have decentralized organizations. These tend to go back and forth, quite frankly, but centralized just means the power rests in one place, whereas decentralized means it's distributed. Decisions can be made at more local levels, and both of these have advantages and disadvantages. So as you read about this, consider those. There's no saying one is better than the other or absolutely right, but there might be occasions or conditions under which one or the other might be better. Coordinating, communicating. This is usually the problem. The bigger the organization becomes, the harder it becomes to communicate. And things get lost on their way to decision makers, the more levels of bureaucracy that you have. So keep that in mind as you go through your college career and take other classes and work in organizations and assume leadership roles. Communication is vital. What's really going on? And who's closest to the market tends to have a really good perspective that needs to be explained. Management, so pay for performance. We may have talked about profit and loss at one time or another. You may have heard about that. Those tend to be high-profile positions that are paid a lot as long as you're making money. It's sort of like an NFL quarterback or a baseball player. You got to get hits, you got to throw touchdowns. But compensation in order to reward and encourage performance is highly desirable, and to retain good employees. Timetables for implementation. If you take a project management course, you'll come across this. Timetables are absolutely vital in order to keep things on track and that you're moving along at a pace that's necessary to meet market demands. And usually the quicker the better. Okay, let's continue on evaluating strategies. Here's where we come to performance standards, or they sometimes called metrics or measurements. What and how we measure is critical, because whatever we measure, it tends to be tied to compensation for employees. So you're going to get more of that behavior. So you have to choose wisely. So sales analysis, are you making sales or aren't you? That's undeniable. Cash flow is undeniably important. Cost analysis, cost structures, budgeting, these are absolutely valid. You need to see where you're leaking cash. They're called variances. Are we positive or negative variances? And one or the other may be good or bad depending upon the circumstances. So when actual performance exceeds performance standards, figure out why this is happening and try to repeat it. Or determine why something is less than. Maybe the standards were too high. It's always a balancing act. Okay, and I think go just a little bit farther. Creating the marketing plan. So it's going to provide uniform marketing vision for the firm, delineates or explains or dissects the marketing responsibilities, who does what, when, and where. This is, again, where project management can come in and be invaluable. Objectives and specifics about how resources are to be allocated and how to achieve them. It's what you do in your life when you plan to take a vacation or to save for a new car or something of that order. You're doing the things to get you to a spot that you intend to go to as a goal. And then to evaluate the performance and to make corrections as needed. So in these two slides go over sections of the marketing plan and kind of what's in them and what they contain. So this is for your reference. These should be very handy to you. And you can see it covers all the areas. Okay, I think that'll take us where we need to go. Remember, there's a quiz each week and a discussion forum. Make sure you answer the right question and you follow the feedback that you've gotten about formatting and things like that. So pay attention to details. That's really important. That's a really good skill to cultivate and to repeat. So take care. See you next week.